This is Susan Bradley for AskWitty.com, and it's task for the weekend, June 26th, 2021. So today I'm going to talk about something that occurred on my home computer as well as a computer at the office. And when it first occurred on my home computer, I thought I pressed a wrong key. And when I saw somebody talk about it in the Ask Witty forums, it was like, okay, it's not just me. And then when a gentleman who was at the office trying to do some extra work this weekend called me because he couldn't get into his desktop because this widget bar was on top of where he was trying to click. And all of a sudden I'm like, I know what he's talking about. So let me show you what it looked like. So here's the topic in the forum. And like this gentleman, the updates were installed earlier, but this morning we found that there was an Xbox game widget on top, and you can see the image here. And at the office, this particular bar was over the screen and you couldn't click on anything. And I couldn't even click on the restart button because I knew from dealing with my home PC that cleared it up. So what I had to do was, from my own computer, I had to remote into my desktop at the office. I had to then send a remote shutdown and restart command to his computer, and when it came back, it was back to normal again. But I wanted to make sure that proactively that widget didn't come back. So there's a registry key that you can click on to turn off the game bar so it doesn't come back. And that link is in the blog post. And then because I was wondering, why did that do that? Because clearly enough of us were getting the same thing, so something must have occurred. And when I got to digging into event logs, I realized that, and it reminds us that there's other things that get updated besides Windows Update. So we all know about Windows Update that does the Windows patches. We all know about Office 365 and their click to run updates, where they also install in the background. But there's a third set of updates that we tend to forget about. And you can see it right here. It's the Microsoft Store that has updates in the background. And when I went into digging into the event logs, it made sense because here's yesterday on this computer at 8:58 p.m. the Xbox app got updated. And here at home, I let the machines, this particular machine, I let it do its thing when it gets updates. Because I want to be a bit on the bleeding edge on this machine. So this is my testing machine. And I let it get updates as they're released. At the office, however, I put some gates on them. So I usually only let things install once a week. And when I approve them, it's on Saturday night about 3 a.m. because I know obviously nobody's at the office, and then I trigger a reboot. So I went and looked at the event logs at the office, and sure enough, the same Xbox app update got installed at about 3 a.m. So it's like, okay, both machines got this store update, and right after that, they had this behavior where they had the Xbox game bar. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about is an advanced level. So this is an optional thing. If you want to take more control, I'll give you some resources. It's not for everybody. So it's not something that I recommend to all. I recommend it to those of you that are more the advanced users. But let me show you the resources. So the first resource I'm going to show you is where you can disable the store apps in Windows 10, and you can do it through a registry key. And then I'm also going to point you to a recent topic that PK posted in the forum about how to remove what's called the inbox apps. And there's a very detailed presentation of how to use Microsoft's own tools and not third-party tools to remove these things. And it's a very smart way to do it, because often with third-party tools you get potential for risks and issues and interactions. And it's been updated for several months now with no issues. So again, if you want to take a look at that post, I'll put the link also in the blog post. But again, it reminds me that updates don't just come through Windows Update. They don't just come through Office 365. They also come through the Microsoft Store. So just to be aware, if you too got a funky Xbox game widget on your computer, you aren't alone. Others did too. Have a great week. Newsletter comes out tomorrow. We're at DEF CON 4. Ensure all Windows updates are installed. And obviously, with that Microsoft Store, even ones you weren't anticipating. Until next time, this is Susan Bradley.